Okay, hello. Okay, I'll start the live shortly. I'm still doing some technical adjustment out here. Okay, I will start the stream now. Okay, as you can see from the topic, it's all about crypto today. So yeah, let's get this started. Give me a while. Okay. Cannot hear audio. Hold a second. Okay. Alright. So let's start the live now. Okay, today I'll be talking about crypto. So as you can see, if you do not already know, the SEC actually approved spot Bitcoin ETFs. So this means that investors can now have exposure to Bitcoin prices in the stock market. Okay, so after the announcement of the news, if you look at the price pattern or the price chart of the three major cryptocurrencies, you can see that Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Binance Coin, which is BNB, actually all increase or decrease after the announcement. So this peak was the announcement time, and then you can see that after that, straight away, the Bitcoin price just dropped. And in terms of Ethereum, same thing, increase, and then after announcement, price drop to close to don't currently the price now is close to pre-announcement price. So as you can see, it's quite volatile. Okay, so for ETF, the ETF wise, there's a total of 11 that are approved as of now. And out of these 11, you can see some big names here like Fidelity, ARK Invest, and also iShares. So iShares is basically owned by BlackRock. And then if you look at the ETF expense fee, most of the ETF actually waive off their expense fee for the first 6 months or a year. Yeah, you see for BlackRock, they actually waived it off for 1 year. Okay, so in terms of trading volume wise for the Bitcoin ETFs, so they listed on Thursday, which was yesterday, and then in just 1 day, they just saw trading volume of about 4.5 billion, and then the majority of it was for Grayscale's Bitcoin ETF, which is this one down here. So BlackRock ones account for around a quarter of the total 1 day, total first day trading volume. Okay, so I'll now go through my own experience of investing in crypto, give you guys an idea of what are my thoughts and opinions about crypto investing in general. Okay, so for myself, I actually invested in quite a lot of crypto things in the past. Basically, things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto games or blockchain games, and then NFTs and also DeFi, which stands for decentralized finance. So you can say that I dabbled in everything that is crypto related. Okay. So for DeFi, right? I actually did liquidity pools and also staking on the um blockchain network itself. So the blockchain that I invested in was actually DeFi chain. NFT wise, It's just a bunch of random Discord NFTs. And then thankfully, out of all these 4 investments in crypto, they were actually positive after a year plus. So as of now, I don't hold any crypto investments or assets as of now. I actually liquidated all of them in 2022, shortly before the crypto winter started. So thankfully, that was quite um, pleasant news in a sense. Okay, so what are my thoughts about crypto? So when it comes to crypto investing or crypto exposure, to me, it boils down to 3 basic components: accountability, adoption, and suitability. So accountability wise is all about regulations and audits. Like if you want to have a proper investment product, there has to be regulations or there has to be regulatory oversight in a sense that the product itself has to be licensed and regulated by the government to ensure that there are actually proper processes in place and also ensure that the investment itself is not a fraudulent investment. So audits wise, it's all about auditing the financial state of the company that is doing the crypto project. So for example, let's say you invest in a crypto project called maybe A coin. So in A coin itself, there has to be, so the company behind A coin, there has to have an independent auditor to audit that whatever they do in their project is actually what is stated in the white paper and not something that's fraudulent or something that there is some financial loophole somewhere, for example, FTX case. Okay, so the last part of accountability is also the individuals that have credentials in cryptocurrency projects, and not just some random person who actually created a coin on a website and said that they're doing a crypto project. So without accountability, right, you will have problems like this. I mean, we have seen the FTX case, we have seen Three Arrows, which is a crypto firm, and also Hogonaut going bankrupt in recent years. So without any accountability, all these things will happen because it basically means that crypto itself, a landscape, right, is just a wild west without anyone to regulate or without anyone to hold these companies or projects accountable. So when this happens, right, when there's no regulation involved, when there's no licensing involved, it comes to a point where it becomes an honor among thieves. Like anyone can just run away the funds without investors knowing what happened to the funds because they are not licensed at all or regulated in that sense. Okay, so moving on to the second portion, which is about adoption. So for crypto to go mainstream, right, there has to be use cases for the coin itself. Okay, so for example, let's say you invest in maybe say Solana. There has to be some use cases for Solana, be it in the real world or be it in other forms of applications or processes. So without any use case, right, it basically means that the crypto project itself is operating in its own echo chamber without any real world use cases or real world utilization of the coin. The second part about adoption is also about accessibility. So accessibility is basically how easy is it to invest or buy or trade with that coin. So as of the current landscape wise, when you want to invest in cryptocurrency projects or coins, there's a lot of processes involved. For example, setting up a wallet, transferring funds from your bank account to an exchange, and then exchange to wallet. So for the layman investor, right, all these processes is not very user friendly in that sense. So when it's not user friendly, then there's lesser chance of it having mainstream attention. So the last part of adoption is also about fees and transaction speed. So if you know about Ethereum proof of stake conversion, right? Ethereum's fees were very high. So that is why before it went from proof of work to proof of stake. It was not a very tangible or usable type of cryptocurrency project. So one thing about transactions is also about how fast you want your coins to actually reach your wallet. So for example, for you to reach mainstream adoption, right, it has to happen in a few seconds or even milliseconds or even instantaneously. There is no point for you to wait like 1 day or even 30 minutes for your transfer to work. Because if that's the case, right, that means your coin itself will not have a very wide mainstream use because people nowadays, they want transactions, they want transfers to be instantaneous. So when your transfers take like 1 day or 2 days, right, then there is no real point for people to actually hold that coin or even use that coin in the first place. Okay, so last part about my thoughts about cryptocurrency about suitability. So suitability refers to whether cryptocurrency itself is it a investable asset to you. So what do I mean by that, right? If you look at cryptocurrency volatility, so this is Bitcoin's price pattern for the past 5 years. You will see that there are actually huge spikes and huge increase and then drop and then increase and then drop. So for one increase, right, can be very high, but when it comes to the drop in the price, it can lose up close to about 3/4 of the price. So so you invest in cryptocurrency, right? You have to be comfortable with this volatility. If you are not, then most likely the advice is that best for you to not to invest in cryptocurrency because you will not know when to actually liquidate your assets or even liquidate your assets at a profit or buy when or you will not have the confidence to buy when the prices are low. So when it comes to cryptocurrency also, you have to ask yourself whether you're an investor or a trader. So the difference is that an investor, right, they will hold a long-term view of the things they invest in. But then as a trader, you are more comfortable with short-term trades. So for example, you trade based on maybe on volume or on interest or on price movement. So in that sense, as a trader, you're not taking a position in a cryptocurrency project for long term. Um, you are more interested in taking short-term profits. So if you're invested in cryptocurrency, you have to have the mental fortitude to actually hold that coin for long term and then ride through the volatility waves. And then last but not least, there's also the topic of risk appetite. What type of investor are you? Are you a safe investor? Are you an investor that is more comfortable or more accustomed to predictable investments? So if you are that investor type, right, then cryptocurrencies in a sense, is not a very suitable product for you because the price will spike and drop very fast or very frequently. Okay. So when it comes to the question of should invest in Bitcoin spot ETFs, right? There are two sides to a coin. So for example, so for the 4Ks, right, there is speculation that with this spot ETFs being approved, there will be capital inflows towards the spot ETF. So this means that the price of Bitcoin might rise in the near future or in the next 1 or 2 years. So there are also speculation. So if you look at Bitcoin's historical performance for the past few years, you will see that for the past 10 years, Bitcoin actually performed quite remarkably over the past 10 years. Of course, there are some years where it decreased by 78%, 33%, 58%, decreased by more than half in a year. But over the long term, you can see that Bitcoin price actually increased over the long term. So last but not least, for the 4Ks, there is speculation that Bitcoin can become a new gold currency. This is due to the fact that Bitcoin itself, right, there's only a maximum of 21 million Bitcoins that can ever be mined. So as of now, the amount of Bitcoin in circulation right now is about 19.6 million. So you got about 1 1 million plus left of Bitcoin to be mined. So the things you see here, these wallets, right, are all the biggest Bitcoin holders. So you see wallets belonging to Binance, you see wallets belonging to Bitfinex, which are all crypto exchanges. Of course, there are some anonymous wallets that also hold a substantial amount of Bitcoin. So all this, so the scarcity of Bitcoin is why people would argue that Bitcoin can become a new gold currency. But then for it to become gold, right, there has to be widespread adoption by not only individuals but also acceptance by governments and financial institutions to say that they accept Bitcoin as a form of value storage. So if there is no widespread adoption of approval, right, then it's very hard for Bitcoin to get acceptance to become the new gold currency in our current digital age. So for the against cases for investing in Bitcoin, into investing in the Bitcoin Spot ETF, is that when you invest in Spot ETF, you do not exactly hold a Bitcoin itself, because Spot ETFs basically track the price of Bitcoin. It does not allow you to actually invest directly or hold any Bitcoin assets. So this is basically just a price movement ETF in that sense. And then once again, as I mentioned earlier, Bitcoin investments or crypto investment in general are actually very speculative and volatile. There's no argument that much of the price appreciation of Bitcoin so far is already priced in the current market. I mean, if you look at Bitcoin price patterns, right, the spike in the price always comes when there is speculation of further advancement in cryptocurrency, or in the recent case, the possibility of spot ETFs being approved. So now that it's being approved already, there is no other speculative reasons that might contribute to the rise in Bitcoin price. So as I mentioned earlier, also there's no widespread adoption or approval of Bitcoin. If you look at these two articles, right? So basically, the article on top is a statement by Vanguard, which is one of the biggest asset managers, just behind BlackRock. So they see their statement, right? They basically say that Bitcoin spot ETFs do not align with the offer that is focused on asset classes like equities, bonds, and cash, which Vanguard views as the building blocks of a well-balanced and long-term investment portfolio. I mean, I won't argue with this statement because Bitcoin itself, there is no cash flow related to it. And then due to its speculative nature, it's very hard for it to become a long-term type investment. And the article below, right, is the statement by SEC president or chairman. So basically, he's saying that the approval of the Bitcoin Spot ETF does not mean that they approve Bitcoin in general, because Bitcoin is still being involved in a lot of ransomware, money laundering, and other terrorist financing. So coming from a regulatory point of view, there is no acceptance or approval of Bitcoin being used as a store of value yet. So as long as the government and regulators do not accept Bitcoin or do not approve Bitcoin for further usage, right, then it's very hard for Bitcoin price to actually continue rising like no tomorrow. So with that said, I myself, I will not invest in cryptocurrency because I do not see a long-term future for crypto projects or cryptocurrency or even Bitcoin as of now. But then, from a trader point of view, there might be a reason for you to actually trade Bitcoin, not to invest, but to trade Bitcoin for short-term price movements. Okay, so yeah, that will be all for today's live. It's a very short live. I just thought of doing this to actually give my thoughts and opinions about the spot ETFs and also about cryptocurrency in general. So yeah, if you're still watching, thank you for joining me, and I will see you all in next week's live, which I will cover about the earnings result for Q4 of some US banks and also TSMC. Okay, so thank you for joining me today. So I'll see you all next week. Bye bye.